And welcome back. I'm Jessica Geary. Getting an education is certainly important, but as we know, and they say, there's nothing like getting that real-world experience, too. Well, my next guest worked for two big-time educational companies, Kaplan Test Prep and Princeton Review, and then he turned around and created a new online experience himself. Farb Nevi is the founder of an education website called Grokkit, and Grokkit helps students study for standardized tests like that dreaded SAT. I just have nightmares thinking about it. Okay, so you basically created a competitor for those two tests. Tell me how Grokkit is different and what it does.
Sure. So one of the key components that makes Grokkit pretty unique is that we do a lot of social learning, which is students helping students. So in Grokkit, you can come and work on your own, and the system will adapt to you better than like a book can. You can also find like great instructors that are rated and ranked by your peers, and those sort of things exist in the world, right? Working on your own and working with experts. But what doesn't really exist out there in a formalized way is working with other peers and learning from peers, teaching your peers. And a lot of research shows that small group study is like one of the top forms of instructional design, and the best way to learn something is to help other people learn it.
So you've taken like the traditional study group that people used to do in the library, and you've put it online, so it's really kind of more in tune to what kids do today with the whole social networking and everything, and it allows them to have that.
And there's a game component, so you earn points and you level up and you can become a black belt and you earn badges, and you can share your badges on Facebook showing off that, I did 100 questions for my SAT prep, and you can, push that out.
And from your experience, not only with Grokkit, but also from the Princeton Review and Kaplan and all that, how key a component is it to be able to access these kinds of websites and to do this preparation in order to get a good score on your SAT or on all the tests that we're required to take now?
I think since the world is competitive, if there are a bunch of people doing it, then everyone kind of has to do it, or the people who are doing it have a competitive advantage, right? And so there's a disproportionate number of, students that are well off that can access resources, whereas, like literally we have millions of students that live in poverty, which is like people who, whose families earn less than $20,000 in a year. So one of the ways that we combat that is through like working with the Magic Johnson Foundation. So we've donated about, $300,000 worth of Grokkit scholarships, all to, people that work through the Magic Johnson Foundations. Basically, a lot of these families, the centers are where they access computers, the parents go to access computers, the kids go there. And so when the kids go there, they can basically study in Grokkit with other students.
So tell me how it works. I go online, I go to Grokkit, and then what do I do?
So if you want to work in a group, you basically press one button. Grokkit will, you can either, create your own group with your friends, or you can just hit a button and Grokkit will put you into a group. And you're literally working on like math questions together and you're chatting, right? So it's like a chat room, but you're working on math questions while you're chatting, and then everybody answers. If you're correct, you win points and people congratulate each other. And you have total transparency into your instructor, so you know what they're good and bad at. You know what other students think about them who've worked with them. So it's, instead of just finding someone randomly on Craigslist or just getting the tutor that some company gave you, you get to pick your instructor that matches your strengths and weaknesses. And if you want to access and work in Grokkit on your own, and we have all these algorithms that adapt to you, that's paid for.
What the heck does Grokkit mean?
Yeah, so Grokkit,
what is that?
The word grok comes from Robert Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land, and it's a word that he coined that means to understand something so well that it becomes a part of you.
Wow,
so
that's impressive.
Yeah, so in England, like Grokkit is like the people say, do Grokkit, as in do you get it? So like grokking something means that you understand it so well that it's a part of you, so we call it Grokkit.
Yeah, I love the name. I really think that's inspirational for the kids too. Well, I think that's going to become like the new verb. Can you grok it?
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
I like it. I like it. So if I want to join the second group where I get the tutoring, how much does that cost me?
So tutoring is a flat fee of $50 an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I know that most of the kids that get on it right now are these kids who are preparing for some of the tests, and that's a huge thing because, when I went in high school, you had to pay, you had to go to a school or you had to pay, so this gives people actually more access to be able to do it at home. You've got those, but I know you have a different component that's for younger students. Tell me about that, and what is the aim of that?
So we call it the Grokkit Academy, and basically it's like a virtual high school where the students are learning from each other. So it's or middle school too, because it's 7th through 12th grade English and math. So if you're if you need to catch up on some of your math skills, you can come work on literally like the exact math skills you're learning in school with your peers on your own, or find an instructor that can help you basically fill in the blanks. And we have all these performance reports, so you get to see exactly what you're good and bad at, and then you can just sort of pick off the things you're bad at and just spend your tutoring dollars on something that you know you need help on.
Okay, and very quickly, how far do you see this going? I mean, this whole online phenomenon of people being able to study for these tests online.
I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. They're, maybe 1% of what is going to be like in the next 5 to 10 years.
Wow, I think I grok it.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.